Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen that are watching on YouTube. We are currently live on Twitch. I wanted to add as a little pre-point here, I wanted to welcome everybody to my subreddit, where we are hosting a weekly AMA, and also we are doing a little thing, Yamato laughs, he loses #1, so please post your videos that are below 30 seconds. Of course, they can't be filled with gore or something crazy. AMAs are back, number 28. This is something we try to do weekly. You're all welcome, and honestly, you can post whatever you want. You can post questions about the meta. We can talk about the meta. You can say that I suck balls. All is welcome on this subreddit. Just go crazy. Just don't attack others, and you'll be good. You'll be good. Let's get to this game. We start off with the draft. We'll just let this roll until it's finished. I do not suck balls. All right. So this game, I think, as silly as it might sound, I think this game was a lost in draft here for G2. So I'm still figuring out for myself where Lilia fits in as a champion, but I think Akali Lilia together doesn't work. Lilia is in the same school of champions like Graves, Nidalee, and then there's Lilia. So this school of champions, they need a mid laner that plays for the jungler. I think the best examples that we can take are teams like JDG and so forth. JDG, well, JDG is just the best example. Let's work with JDG. They are playing for their jungler. They need to be very, very greedy, and they need lanes that don't require any special attention. Akali is a champion that against Orianna is going to get pushed in, so that is already a disadvantage. When you begin to be forced to run around with any of these junglers, run around to cover lanes and path inefficiently, you're very, very unhappy with champions like Lilia. The rhythm and the flow of the game needs to follow Lilia in order for her to be as effective as possible. That's super, super important. The pattern of the game needs to be in Lilia's pattern. And already, when you have champions like Akali, she's going to get pushed in. She is the one that needs to be carried from 1 to 6 most of the time. On top of that, I think Senna on blue side is a bit of a trap. It's a bit of a trap because Senna lanes... can you disable Streamlabs bots for saying thank you for following? Let's try to figure this out. Figure that out quick. Give me 1 second. Streamlabs. Streamlabs settings. I will just ban Streamlabs. Fuck it. I think that's easier. I banned Streamlabs. Screw it. Okay. Rip Streamlabs. Alright, let's get back to it. The Senna on blue side is dangerous because Senna's ultimate needs to be used somehow. Senna as a champion, as crazy as it might sound, she serves a very similar purpose as a Sona Lux lane. I think, sure, she can win more lanes and she can definitely contest a lot of lane matchups. But in the context of blind picking it, picking Ashe and Nautilus are going to have prior into it always. You have some opportunities with Senna, and there's a lot of gank setup with Senna Leona. Senna Braum have gank setup. I'm not saying it's exactly like Sona Lux, but in a 2v2 sense, it is something that gets pushed in, but it's very durable and can survive very well. And most of the time, the way we view it in the LCK is that you need to pretty much pair it with solo laners that are going to be very, very punchy and very, very active. When I say punchy and active, I'm thinking something like a Jace Lucian top lane. You have Renekton Nidalee. Those are the combinations that are very, very good. We noticed in the game, in the next game, that the adaptation was picking Jace instead of Gnar. Gnar blind pick is something that can be durable and can, in a lot of cases, farm, but already, picking Gnar into what is viewed here as Ashe, Orianna, I think this is just going to be a tough game to play for Gnar. With the bans that happened, best blind pick option here is, of course, here you have to pick Ornn, but picking Ornn with this team is obviously a big, big tragedy, so this is something that you can't do. You just need to make sure that Senna, if she's in a position to, Senna Braum, they're in a position where they play bottom side and they are just going to hold it down while the rest of the map is just contesting top side 3v3. Something that we see sometimes from Damwon, we see it as well from Genji, we see it from DRX. Senna serves a purpose. I don't want to, give the impression that you can't play for the Senna, but I think when you're blind picking it and you're playing it to Ashe, I think 3v3 bottom side is most of the time going to be very, very difficult. So already now we have Akali and Lilia. This combination is not good, and also we have Gnar blind pick countered by the Rengar. So here in this context, Orianna blind pick is very strong because you're going to have bottom prio. If Ashe Nautilus was on blue side and Akali Orianna was the matchup, I think it would be more difficult for Orianna to play this game. These matchups between Akali and a lot of mid laners are determined by space, and space is given to you by other laners. If Akali can constantly trade and use E aggressively, Shroud aggressively, ult aggressively on every cooldown, then it is difficult to play for Orianna. But if Akali can't, then Orianna can poke, she can buy time, and Akali will have to hold on with the help of course, fleet footwork. It is also a big, massive help here that the jungler that Orianna's side has is much stronger in the 2v2 in comparison to the Lilia that is going to not be so impactful because it's so easy to itemize for Orianna if she wants to change anything up. This could be a game where she even goes Athenes and it wouldn't be bad considering the enemy team. They will play long fights and Hecarim, Orianna have just a stronger 2v2 in mid. Mercury is going to win the 2v2 mid. So already from the get-go, this is a very, very difficult draft to play for blue side. Later down the line, I think it's going to be very difficult to set up any type of combination. I don't think Braum, like always with team compositions, if Akali is strong, then you can make things happen. But this is not a situation where Akali can get strong, and she's not solo AP either. So this is a big draft victory for Fnatic. Later down the line, Rengar, I think in split, has chances against Akali and can win Gnar too. I think just straight up 5v5s though, Orianna Rengar is pretty nasty of a combination. Hecarim is just a very, very high quality jungler, and Ashe Nautilus is the most premium bot lane that you can have right now, next to Ashe Leona as well. Of course, Caitlyn being banned. Okay, we jump into it. So we expect, of course, Ash Nautilus to have prior bottom side. Orianna pushes early. Hecarim gets to clear for free. Lilia needs to might have to cover some lanes. Hecarim, at least against Hecarim, the early game pressure is not that high for Lilia to like be forced to react. Gnar should be winning against Rengar early, depending on jungler decision. I think if in topside, Gnar can just hug topside, and it is going to be always okay. I'm just going to move my camera. So Gnar is going to basically hover on the right side and not go close to any bushes, and then Rengar can't really gap close to Gnar. I don't see it as a counter to Gnar. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. So here we go. So Wunder pulled the wave. Very interesting here. Wunder pulled the wave level 1. I'm wondering if the intention here that he just pulled the wave to make sure that the wave is closer and away from the bush, which is quite smart. I like it. He's further away from the bush, and usually the wave is somewhere around here, right? So this was good. Hecarim 3 camp. And in this jungle matchup, both junglers should just path for efficiency. It looks like Ash Nautilus is giving up push bottom, because I'm pretty certain they can dictate the bottom push if they want to. But Hecarim pathing into bottom side, it means it's not too bad, right? It's not a terrible situation. Cavs did a great job in this lane matchup, because usually you should be behind with Akali early lane phase. You should just be behind. Let's see if there's any type of punish here into bottom side Hecarim, because this is what Ash Nautilus gave up push for. It's always an interesting question to have. You give up push onto bottom side to play around your jungler, right? And then let's see if there's a punish. Could you have punished more if you pushed by yourself? A very interesting dynamic here is that both sides of the jungle are, looking for raptors, but with Orianna base, Hecarim is scared, and with the position of Akali wave, Lilia is scared. Both junglers didn't have vision of each other because both of them swept, so there was no ward. But small dynamic play here of how the junglers are reacting. So in the end, the junglers are just gonna do a mirrored clear completely. A slight benefit to Lilia because her camps are gonna spawn earlier, but as you can see, Hecarim has a base advantage, a little base advantage. Nemesis is looking to freeze, which is good. You want to make sure that your base here, your base advantage, becomes as large as possible into Akali. But Akali looks healthy enough to be able to push in this wave and potentially save a TP. I'm very surprised by how Fnatic's bot lane decided to play this lane matchup. I think them giving up prior level 1 was not necessary, because it didn't pan out to anything based on Hecarim's decision. I think in this jungle matchup, Hecarim just needs to keep up tempo, because if Hecarim ganks both, burns 2 flashes, for example, and Lilia gets, let's say, both sides of raptors and maybe golems too, that is going to be way more impactful, because the 6 is going to be quicker for Lilia. And I think it's just better for Fnatic's bot lane to hard force level 1. The level 1 is just stronger. Akali now TP'd back, and when she TP's back, it's important that she is the one that gets the freeze to force the TP back too. Because if Orianna gets to push in all the way, it is the same dynamic as we mentioned before. Hecarim should be very happy here though, because Orianna, even though Akali wave is frozen, Orianna's items are evenly matched, and on top of that, Hecarim's position for Crab is better. Let's see if Nar support was enough to secure it. No, Hecarim gets the thing, gets the mad thing. Okay. Okay. Well, this was quite beautiful, honestly, quite beautiful. We look at the timer of the ward. The timer of the ward is almost expiring there. Thank you so much, CLG script. Thank you. The timing of the ward there is very, very slim. And what makes it more interesting, when it comes to the ward timer is, I think the ward was placed by the time they realized that they have TP advantage. So people was playing a hard matchup, you know, Nar is getting the base advantage here, Rengar is TPing back. Rengar could have potentially also saved TP here, honestly. I think Bippo's intention was that if he TPs, he's going to push and then be on time to push. But this is a bit too late. A bit too late. And then you can see the sweeper, and then the ward advantage lands. And this is a very, very standard play that you can use in your games. They place down the ward. This is something that Fnatic's bot lane can't see. They have no sweeper. They're going to begin to slow push. G2's bot lane is going to stop to contest this wave down bottom. And then the wave is going to be held in a position where, of course, the Nar TP can be used. A very, very basic play. Nothing too exciting, but it's something that can be used to break a lot of shoulders. Break shoulders, break legs. I don't know, break something. Okay. So they're looking now. The wave is frozen. And now, of course, Fnatic's bot lane is in trouble. But the wave is landing right now in this moment. So you could potentially find, you know, a window where you maybe gain 5 more seconds. 5 more seconds. The flash happens. And here we go. Elisang is, of course, dead. The question is this worth it? Is this worth it? So we lost about, let's say, 6 minions. I wonder if the threat is just bigger than the execution here. Maybe the threat is just bigger than the execution. Because Ashe and Nautilus were quite scared already. They burned Ashe flash. But Nar is recovering here big time. You know, it's a bit of a different situation if everyone is in line for this, right? So, one plating, one wave, gold-wise, XP-wise, yeah, maybe he could even get away, honestly. Achilles-san could maybe just Q the wall here. Maybe he could just Q the wall, honestly. Because it felt a bit, you know, a bit too forced. You know, a bit too forced. Because Fnatic weren't really contesting that much. Yeah. And the wave is not frozen either. Like, the wave gets unfrozen here. So it's not that bad, honestly. It's not that bad. Like if this G2 wave was a continuous freeze, if this wave was a continuous freeze, then it would be more damaging. But the freeze is broken. The freeze is broken here because they keep the minions here and the range creeps. Why am I pointing? So basically the minion wave is kept here, right? While the 3 extra minions are just dying. So there's no freeze, and Rengar gets to push, and maybe there's a world where Rengar loses more if Nar just plays for his lane. And 600 gold? It's not 600 gold. That's the thing, it's not 600 gold, it's just one kill. And Ashe summoners. Is 200 Gs for the assist on First Blood? I thought the assist money is the same as the kill gold. Anyway. Yeah. The assist gold is 150, right? Okay, we can look. Anyway. 400 Gs. Oh, okay. My boy is right. My boy is right. I got schooled. I thought the assist goal was the same as the flat goal. I thought the First Blood goal is just a bonus. 600 Gs, baby. I thought it was, half of the kill gold. I thought the 100 First Blood gold was a bonus. Well, today I learned. Thank you very much. Nevertheless, 600 Gs. I think the key thing here for me is just that the bottom wave is unfrozen. I think that's so important. If the wave still is frozen, I think it would be worth it. But in a case where it isn't, it is, slight benefit. I think the question is that we have to pay attention to is it going to matter that Ash doesn't have summoners? If it matters that Ash doesn't have summoners, then I think it's decent enough. If it doesn't matter, I think it's no use. And now comes the Nautilus pain train. Now, this is something that Hili-san always he kind of revolutionized. This was his invention. He just kind of goes to the end of the world to make sure that you fucking look at him, man. Fucking Spider-Man. A lot of cases he just fucking straight up dies for the cause. And this is very good, right? Hili-san has base advantage, and this is an absolute swing in the game. Mickey dies, and then Hili-san also survives, and this is a beauty. This is an absolute beauty. I'm surprised that G2 fell for this. They fell for this. Akali's in no position to have any say in this action because of the things that we mentioned before. Lilia was catching top wave, showing while Hecarim was around the jungle, so Akali needed to, of course, relax. And then G2 went for the base, and then they got kind of frustrated with it, and then they went for it. So it was a nice shockwave with the Q, and as silly as it might sound, this is game winning. This is game winning. Something like this is completely game winning. I don't think here is Lilia. Oh, decent freeze, good freeze. Thank you, Lilia. But this is what I mentioned in Champion Select. Lilia is forced to run around and not really play for efficiency, even though before this point she was pretty efficient in the clear. Here comes Hecarim. Okay, Bwipo counter pick. I think Bwipo just felt very, very comfortable with the idea of fighting because his whole team is topside, but Wunder clinches this one. This Rengar's got really carried this game. That's okay. You saw the move here from Fnatic that we missed because the replay is the bottom wave is frozen, but freezing at a minute mark is not as powerful as it is to freeze in other cases because you have the potential to swap into topside, and if you're freezing, it means you have less tempo to push into the tower. Boom. We get a replay. Rewind that tape. Rewind that tape. Boom. Phage is OP, guys. Phage move speed. Another thing with Senna is that she doesn't hit towers that hard. And not that fast either. As you can see, Senna now with this tempo disadvantage, she is hitting the tower now, and the herald is already taken. Every part of it is already done and settled. So G2 freezing, Lilia freezing, you know, sure, arguably is a good move, but maybe the better move was to freeze bottom and then base with Gnar and go into bottom side with Gnar, catch that fat ass wave, and then go into top side with Senna and Braum. But at the same time, contesting Rift Herald at this point in time is kind of, you know, a no-go. It's kind of a no-go. So it's a tough decision. It's a tough decision because it's hard to view how G2 needs to play this game because of the draft situation. Like ideally you want to force with Akali through mid, but Hecarim is so fed now. Gnar is pretty strong now, so you can play through Gnar, but Gnar's impact on mid is not that large. Gnar's pressure into mid is a bit too predictable. Like Gnar is in a very, very good state, but Gnar is not the champion that can carry this game. He really isn't. Also, I really, really don't like the Black Cleaver. I think Trinity Force is very, very OP on Gnar. Very, very OP on Gnar. It gives them attack speed. The Mega Gnar base AD is some of the highest in the game. Stinger is not a bad buy at all. Black Cleaver at this point in time is a bit of a grief, I think. You know, he gets bopped. Yeah, the decisions that Fnatic can do in the game are just so easy. They can take control of the river, and then they can shut down any pressure on Gnar that the Gnar creates. They can just hover into his side, and Senna is pushing the turret alone on top. Yeah, Trinity Force Gnar is unbelievably OP, I think. Very, very strong. Okay, I can show you some of my exotic builds. Let me just show you. I played a lot of Gnar games in Korea. I picked Diamond 1, but I dropped. Let's go here. There's a Gnar. We got Trinity Force going on here. Trinity Force Black Cleaver. Trinity Force Black Cleaver combination. Yeah, this one was honestly this 2 months ago. Liandry is very powerful on Gnar. 2 months ago. It's a bit, it might seem ridiculous, but W AP scaling, ultra AP scaling, and just the Liandry passive is just OP. Like Torment is just OP, and Madness is also OP. A key thing to remember about Liandry is that the Liandry debuff effect doesn't stack. It doesn't stack, so it's like you can't buy too many Liandrys on a team. You know, like the effect of Liandry, you don't stack. Imagine I lost this game. What a joke. The only hard part about Liandry is that getting to that point in time where you finish it is really rough. Okay, let's continue. I love Fnatic's decisions here to just play away from the Senna. They know that their tempo is going to be so much better by playing away from the Senna. They had the Herald advantage too. They can control mid and one side of the map and give up the other, and that's perfectly fine. Rengar is not gonna... We don't care about Rengar. Rengar being behind, we don't care. We don't care at all. We're going to put Gnar equally behind. Gnar, just like Rengar, just eat jungle. Just kill jungle, make sure Lilia doesn't eat our jungle, and we're going to swap around and then play away from Senna and just be higher on tempo. It's like Senna is pushing top, but she's like tickling the turret, you know? She's like using her sprinkler, you know? She's like power washing the tower. Like, it's really not that great. And Selfmade now gets the turret gold, the Rift Herald gold, and that's so juicy, finishing 24 at 13 minutes. This is an absolute massacre of a game. Massive massacre of a game. The reason, like, I think the argument, or the argument for Black Cleaver is that the stats that are on this item are perfect. It is very rare that you buy it for the sole intention of the armor penetration. The stat allocation of the item is just really good. Even in the case of Senna, like, stacking Black Cleaver is so fucking unrealistic. You really don't get it for that purpose. You get it for the purpose of the move speed, and you get HP, 20% cooldown, and AD. There is no other item that fits this bill. Like, for example, you're not going to go for a Trinity Force on Senna, so because it's absolute garbage. Of course, I think Senna itemization, I think lethality is much better, but I'm just talking for the argument for Black Cleaver. People are not buying it for the armor penetration most of the time. It is just about the stat allocation, you know? It is, you know, a similar argument could be made is Frozen Heart is a very cost efficient item, but a lot of those stats go into mana. You'd rather have the ideal stats than the most cost-efficient item. But I do agree that there's a lot of cases where buying Black Cleaver is a tragedy. Like, for example, in this case, for Gnar, it's unnecessary because Trinity Force is such a great item. I think people have a very wrong impression of the LPL if they think that the LPL macro is bad. I think people are just reading top Reddit and reading a comment, and they made their opinion 3 years ago, and they've stuck to that opinion because they've heard it before. Saying that LPL is bad on macro is really delusional. Let's take a look at this. So now Gnar is walking up all the way. You know, Fnatic don't necessarily need to force this. Because the position of the map right now is Orianna's pushing with no contest. They don't see Gnar. They spotted him on the wards, I believe. And from a macro perspective, this is not something that you need to force. But they catch caps, and Senna Braum are late on the rotation because, of course, Ashe and Nautilus have prio. So why not? I think it's not terrible. It's okay. You know, it's okay. Boom. He gets snapped in half. And there we go. He gets snapped in half too. Game is fucking lost. Game is lost. Game is lost. Boom. Boom. Thank you very much, Evil Jacobov. A common mistake that teams do when they are in such a position is that they don't understand that imagine, so let's think from a macro perspective. Fnatic is very far ahead, right? They're very far ahead. A team that is far ahead realistically can only control two sides of the map. The team that is behind needs to use Fog of War to outnumber. That's the only way they win. G2 only win by outnumbering. So if Fnatic want to make sure that they never get outnumbered, never get caught off guard. It means that they play through mid, contest one side of the jungle that is relevant to the objective. Make sure that the side laner, Orianna in this case, gets pushed all the way, and then you sacrifice top. Because this is the only space where G2 could potentially outnumber. And in a world where G2 send 5 people into top, and they're hiding, this move, pushing mid and stepping into this side of the jungle, is problem free. It's something that you will never be surprised by anything. And on top of that, if you make this move and the enemy shows, you make this move, you take vision in this blue marked area that I have here, and you push out all the way, it means if you have information on the enemy, then you can make it into a 1-3-1, But if the enemy is hiding, what is the best course of action? The best course of action is just to play on 2 lanes until the point in time where you get information. Eventually the enemy has to show. And we've seen this clear trend of how Fnatic are finishing and pushing the advantage of this game rather quick, because they are very decisive and they don't care about a couple of minions that are lost in top side. There goes Perks as a flash, a bit greedy, but Kali gets popped, so who cares? I'm not going to slow down this game too much because it's quite lost. This game is quite lost. I will only answer questions that are relevant to what is happening on the screen. And over G2 to win fights, they really need to bait the engage of Hecarim, bait the ultimate of Nautilus, and then just slowly kite back with Gnar and Senna and Braum. But the idea of that feels very unrealistic. It is so easy for Fnatic to force. There's no cleanse on G2's side. Bippo inting a little bit. Well, that's okay. That's okay. I don't believe they get the mid tower off for this, so it's alright. Victor is a worse version of all the other AP mages. I think in a lot of cases, people are looking at individual champions in regard to a team composition sometimes too much. Sometimes one champion makes a team composition, Victor is good into Azir Ori. Victor loses both those matchups. And his of course, base timers are also not are pretty awkward in a meta where everyone's running TP. Yeah, this Gnar build is pretty. Yeah, honestly, there's nothing Gnar can buy to be useful this game. Trinity Force. Yeah, Trinity Force. I feel like G2 gained a lot of breathing room here. They were first on the mid wave, and then they got to push in top wave all the way. Like here, G2 get one mid prio, and this is what they gain out of it. Orianna is pushing very slowly at bottom side, but this is not an Orianna problem. I think if anything, this is a space where Fnatic can force right now. But I'm wondering if they just don't want to because of bottom wave. But thing is, you lose the same amount of minions on top. think Ziggs is good, yeah. Ziggs is good. So here, this could be an opportunity for Fnatic to force onto this space. But they give up the position, Bwipo goes back, and they lose a tower. Because here it just seems like Orianna's calling, I'm pushing, I'm gaining minions for free, but the exact same thing is happening for G2. I'm denying minions here, I'm pushing very slowly. The exact thing is happening for G2. So I would disagree with this move here. I think the aggressive approach is better. The aggressive approach just feels better. I think right now Fnatic are much stronger, and they could have gone for the aggressive approach. But let me take a look. Actually, maybe the argument against it is the fact that they don't have Hecarim ult. Let me take a look here. So Bwipo dies, Senna dies, and now the respawn happens, and this is where they contest mid, and this is where they don't go. Okay, but they have Hecarim ult on here. Because here they give up a lot for the Orianna very slow push on bottom. I think Fnatic could have just contested and forced, and I think G2 would absolutely have no chance in a fight there. But it had to happen initially when G2 was stepping into contest division. Rengar ult on and then just fucking clap them in half. So I will just make sure to mark so this was the position. So of course, the argument against it is the bottom wave is in a cringy position. But you're going to lose all of this top side, and you're going to lose all of your space here if you don't do it. So the minions that are lost is, and honestly it looks like this could be a game-winning situation. Okay, let's continue. So we put ult on, backs off, Orianna slow pushing, the decision has been made. Do you think Caitlyn should always be banned in first ban phase? I don't think so, no. I think Ashe wins Kate. I think Fnatic don't want to fight it because even if they win, they can't get Baron. They can get Baron. Why wouldn't they be able to get Baron if they kill everyone? But I think Rengar pick was just like this game. Fnatic's decisions were not made for Rengar. Like they didn't play for Rengar, and Rengar was the one that got shafted, and that's okay. Like I think it's the right decision. I don't think you should change that decision. 20-minute Baron isn't as valuable as 25-minute Baron. But the thing is, they are losing minions and they are giving space to a team that shouldn't have space. This should matter too. And the minions are getting caught on bottom, and a lot of minions are dying to the tower top. Like, it's not terrible. Manamune is, like, generally speaking, on any AD champion in the game that have mana, Manamune is a incredibly strong item. Cost efficiency wise, Manamune is so insane. But you sacrifice a little bit of power. You sacrifice a little bit of power until you get to that point. You sacrifice a bit of power. For example, Jhin, another champion that I have been experimenting with. Jhin. Manamune Jhin feels very good. Manamune Jhin feels very, very good because it has incredibly much AD for such a cheap price. Like, it's incredibly cheap. Incredibly cheap. But to get there, it's a bit awkward, you know. You buy a mana crystal on a champion that really doesn't need mana crystal, right? Thoughts on Manamune Jinx. I can't see anyone in Pro Boards building it. It doesn't matter the rank. Like I have enough experience to know what has a function and what doesn't have a function. Does Jhin multiply Manamune passive? No. Thing is, Manamune Jinx is, in theory, if you reach that point, it's amazing. But if you don't, like, already Jinx as a champion scales really, really well. So you don't need to, like, take extra precautions to scale even better. It doesn't, it's kind of counterintuitive. It might be dirt cheap, but it's also slot efficient in late game. Yeah, but pro games rarely go to the point where you have 6 items. Very rarely. Usually 3 items and the game's finished. Maximum, you know? Or not maximum, but on average. Always Sunny or Cypher? I think Always Sun is funnier. What are champions that utilize the mana of Manamune particularly well besides the obvious Ezreal? Well, Corki. Senna. Like Senna mana costs are crazy. So Manamune, if you want to scale better, you buy Manamune. You can go Manamune Hecarim. Like you can go Manamune Hecarim, right? And that's great, you know? You can go Manamune Twitch. Manamune is extra good on champions that go Hurricane. Kaiser Manamune. Yeah. Manamune Lucian also works. Also works. We've seen Manamune Lucian work. So hard to play this game. The ults of G2 are just so damn strong. And now Caps dies to the Nash. And this was probably the best fight G2 could have had. Besides Lille getting clapped and snapped. Well, the thing is with Manamune Lucian, in like I think Manamune Lucian is a bit too greedy. I think the way we view Lucian in Korea is that you need to fucking dominate lane with it, you know. You pick top, you dominate lane, and if you buy Manamune, you're not gonna dominate lane. You're going to lose lane. Like Nemesis got away with buying it against Larson, and that's, you know, good on him, but I think a lot of the Azir players in of course, like if you play against BDD Azir and you go Manamune Lucian, you will, you know, your asshole will be very big, you know. Manamune Lucian is very, very good when you can get away with it, you know. When you can get away with it, it is very good. If you can't, it's game losing, you know? I just want to show again. Manamune Lucian. I went all the way 2 months ago. So this was before anyone else. I went all the way. I went Muramana, Trinity Force. But Trinity Force on Lucian I don't like. Because the way you combo with Lucian is not efficient with Trinity Force proc. And also your passive doesn't benefit from Trinity Force at all. So Trinity Force is just shit. And then this is like a lot of top lane Lucian games. So top lane Lucian is very different from course. I can't buy Manamune with top lane Lucian. Here this was actually messed up. This game I got so fucked by this top Shyvana. top Shyvana that ran TP Ignite. I got ganked, I lost my flash, and then at 6, she just killed me. She just killed me. It's absolutely... is Manamune good on Hurricane? What do you mean Hurricane? Well, what does that mean? Nasus? Yeah. Well, once again, Manamune is very OP when you can get away with it. In some matchups, Hurricane. Yeah, Hurricane. It's a football joke. Yeah, fucking hilarious, dude. Fucking dumbass. Jesus. Also, Oriana's so strong. All that farming is paying off, guys. All that farming is paying off. Are you not in Korea? No, I'm not in Korea. When are you going back to Korea? Ask COVID. Ask COVID. COVID, hello. Oh, look at this. Yeah, this is when you have these items on Oriana. Praise the sunshine. Praise the sunshine. Ah. I'm gonna show you guys some disgusting Oriana builds. Okay. So let's look top region. Let's look top region. Okay. Oh, what is this? Tank Oriana. 3 core, 300, 290 AP. Morello, Banshee. Oh. This. We accept it. Acceptable. We like it. This. Ooh. This is the juicer, man. This is the juicer. Look, who's this? Mission. PSG Talon. I recognize Kaiwing. Hanabi. Wow. Okay. Let's look at some more disgusting. Oh, Abadage, nice. Let's look at some more disgusting builds. Well, I want top regions. Top. Refresh. Top region. Okay. Whoa, what's this? Wow. Nasty. I'm trying to find... Where is UCal? UCal, where are you? I can't find the UCal one. Oh, the UCal one was absolutely disastrous. Nevertheless, we continue with the game. And here goes Mickey. Boom. Goodbye, Mickey. Push. Did you see PoE's Syndra build? What is wrong with PoE's Syndra build? Let's take a look. Power of Evil. What's wrong with this? This made you want to kill yourself? You need to check your priorities, brother. Okay, let's just wrap this game up. Sag. Boom. Yeah, I don't know if Void was better. I don't know if Void... I didn't watch TL versus FlyQuest. I'm gonna be honest. It was too late. I need to sleep. Man's gotta sleep. I just can't get no sleep. There was some arguments about, you know... So, I read on Twitter the people complaining about Randuin's Omen buy. But, armor item-wise, there's not a lot of options for now that are exciting. You need armor and HP. Against Ashe auto attacks can still crit. Ashe auto attacks can still crit. When she crits, it doesn't deal additional damage, but it increases the power of her slow. Because, so basically, when she attacks frozen targets, or like targets that she froze, she gets amplified bonus damage depending on how much crit she has, and there's like this calculation and so forth. But Ashe can still crit, and when she crits, the slow is amplified. And when those auto attacks with the amplified slow happen, Randuin's Omen reduces the basic attack damage by 20%. So Randuin's Omen works on Ashe, but in a very specific way. It works exactly the same way as it would against any other AD carry that buys crit. Yeah, this is rough times for Caps. Rough time for Caps. Is that the LEC hoodie? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, I think all in all, right now in the current meta, Nara is a fine top lane champ, but it's not fine in the current meta. Like when you see enemy Azir, enemy Ashe, like you don't want to play. You don't want to play the game, honestly. What about Manamune Ashe? I think it's okay. It's okay. Once again, I speak from experience. I speak from experience. So I don't know what the fuck this was. This was really dirty. I don't know what this was. This looks... This is a dirty build. Very dirty build. Okay, I went all the way. I wanted to try Monomana, Trinity, Essence Reaver. This honestly felt quite juicy. Like the W cooldown was very low. You could proc every Trinity was proc. It felt good. It felt really good. This was also a very juicy build here. As you can see, Randuin's Omen. Look at enemy team, okay? Enemy team, Kiana, Hecarim, Rek'Sai, Kael'thas. Yo, I got to be a tank, baby. I got to be a tank. Alright, that wraps up this game. I think it's just a big draft victory, and Fnatic played very, very decisively. I think Fnatic always, when they are ahead, they look very, very dangerous. And in this game, we could see they were sacrificing Rengar's side to make sure Orianna is very strong. And also on top of that, you know, they just played through mid into one side and made sure it was on the objective side. The base cancellation from Nautilus was a thing of beauty. That was such a game winner. You know, if we summarize the game. Boom. This move, double kill, Lily out into swap for the Rift Herald because Senna froze. We will get solo kill, but he's like, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay. And then Senna is pushing top, they reswapped and mismatched. Beautiful, beautiful move. That's something that we can use. Mismatching against Senna in the future. Beautiful.